This is the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, retired pro wrestler. Today, I'm your host. You ever realize we just watched WWE outgrow Vince McMahon in real time? Wrestlepalooza, it wasn't just another premium live event, PLE. It was a message. The lights, the pacing, the presentation. This felt like Triple H world now. And when TKO president Mark Shapiro said it's time to take the torch and move past Vince's era, he wasn't talking about symbolism. He was talking about strategy. Today, Jess and I, we are breaking it down what it all really means, from Wrestlepalooza's impact to the ESPN deal, how WWE's entire identity is shifting right before our eyes. And that start with what everybody still wants to talk about, Wrestlepalooza. Jess, the captain, what's going on today, girl?
Hi, Trish. Hey, family. Hello, and welcome back to the great Tristan Law Show.
I want everybody to beat Fernando, because Fernando is always here before everybody else, before we even go live, right?
Oh, man, Fernando. But I love it. I love that. I love the loyalty. I love it. I love it. It just tells me that we're doing a good job, Trish.
I think so. And whether we are live or on demand, we are asking for your full participation. We want to hear what you have to say. We react to everything. Jess and I, yeah, we may be the faces that you see, but you guys put the music bed to the show. You guys, everything that you guys say, you're a part of the show. You're just as important, whether you are watching this live on your couch, in between your lunch break, later on tonight because you couldn't catch it live. Stu, I want to hear your wrestling view. If you are not here live, don't forget to turn on your notifications. But let's start with this, right? ESPN's debut. I think that was WWE, Jess, that was WWE's first PLE to stream exclusively on ESPN. And that wasn't even supposed to be the case.
Mm-hmm. Ever. It's never happened before. Because think about, like, if we got to think about the Vince McMahon era, we got to think about how ESPN pretty much thought that wrestling was not considered sports worthy.
That's right.
It wasn't anything. It was just a bunch of people, a bunch of men and women in tights fighting. But it's weird, right? Because I'm like, y'all talk about all other sports. You even talk about boxing. You even talk about MMA fighters and all of that. But somehow wrestling was beneath you. That's crazy.
And I think it stems. I think it stems from the whole thing, though, that pro wrestling is predetermined. And they don't see it as a legit sport. But it's not the first time that ESPN has ever showed pro wrestling on their channel. They used to show AWA stuff back in the day. Jess, I remember growing up in the 90s. Yeah. Way back in the day, they used to show it. I remember watching AWA on ESPN. It's not nothing new to them. By WWE being with ESPN, it's just a new evolution of how it is. Like, yeah, we know that pro wrestling is predetermined, but growing up in New York City, Jess, I used to always love flipping to the back of the Daily News. Going there and seeing exactly what the WWE did. I can be able to see the results from Monday Night Raw. I found the newspaper from my uncle from the early 90s, and I was able to go back and see exactly what happened on Raw. Granted, I could watch it in 2025, but in 2025, it was announced, but Wrestlepalooza, it wasn't supposed to be the first event. This was supposed to happen in 2026, and WWE and ESPN, whoever, they rushed it. Maybe there was a miscommunication with the press release. Maybe the press release read different, but it was supposed to start in 2026, but WWE kicked it off with Wrestlepalooza. And I have an issue with that, Jess.
Why? I personally don't. I think it's okay. Honestly, because it just, I don't know, maybe I'm just overstepping my boundaries, but it definitely has to have to do with whatever deal we have with, is it Raya season?
Riyadh in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, Riyadh. Obviously, everything circles back around to the deal with our Riyadh season. Everything, like, because now you're about to have because that Middle East area, Dubai and Saudi Arabia, apparently now it's new,
right?
It's technologically savvy.
That's right.
It's modern, and the people of the Middle East wants to be recognized for more than
the stuff that people think that they do.
The most negative stuff that you could possibly think of about Middle Easterns. So the show is not being political. It's the truth. People look at Middle Easterns as, you know, just bad people.
That's true.
Some odd, dumb reason. Some odd, dumb reason. So I do appreciate them to say, listen, you know, we're here. We love America. We love wrestling. So let's just get into bed with each other. Honestly, I don't think somebody like Vince McMahon would have allowed a deal like this. ESPN, absolutely.
I disagree.
Absolutely. ESPN, absolutely. But having it with Saudi, nah.
He was the one that wrote the deal. His name was the signature in the original fix your face before I get stuck like that. He was the one that made that signed the first pay-per-view for it to happen in Saudi Arabia. You see,
yeah, that's true, because he still has a bid in the industry, right? He didn't sell all his shares.
Nah, he still has them.
Has like a few of them in there.
He still has them,
but so he's still on the board of directors.
Nah, he's not. Nah, he just has stocks.
At all? At all. He doesn't sit there with The Rock and TKO and everybody else.
No, he just has stock. But the issue that I have with the whole ESPN thing, Jess, is that, and Fernando, I see your message. I'll get to it in a second. The thing that I have with the whole ESPN thing is that I felt that it was rushed. I still don't even understand Too Tough How to Watch. Granted, I watch in the UK, mind your business. I don't understand Too Tough How to Watch. You know, when it was coming out, I felt that the WWE network, it was a much smoother rollout in how to watch. You know, going to Peacock was a much smoother, you know, direction on how to watch. But now with the whole entire thing, it's like, well, if you pay for cable and if you get this package, but you pay for Hulu Plus and, you know, you get ESPN, you might be able to watch the PLE. I'm not sure. Just log in and try go to this website. And those are some of the things that I feel that with Vince McMahon not being behind the helm anymore, it's not easy for people to try to figure out how to watch.
Well, maybe not easy, Trish, but you definitely have more options. Now, let's go ahead. Let's rewind it back to the early 2000s and 90s. You did not have this type of access. You had to have cable to watch Raw. You had to have cable to watch SmackDown. You had to have some money and PPV to watch these PLEs.
You're right.
There was almost no way. If you didn't, remember how many times we talked about it in each episode. We would not be here.
I'm gonna tell you you're wrong, but keep going.
If we didn't have no money, we wasn't catching those PLEs. And if you didn't catch them PLEs and everybody else saw it, you're SOL, because there was no phones for real. You had video cameras, you had camcorders and shit, but you didn't have YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in this day and age, this era, with a little, you know, still with Vince McMahon, it has definitely become more optional. You have more options of ways to be able to enjoy your wrestling.
I think that your statement about it being hard to watch PLEs during the Vince McMahon era, it was easier to watch PLEs in the Vince McMahon era with no money. All you had to do, so WWE used to have...
Oh, don't you have to have like 40, I'm just going 2000s. It was maybe $45 a PPV?
Nah, all you need is $10. $10.
Shit.
So all you would do is you would go to a blast area. WWE had a blast area. You would go to like a Hooters, and what you would do is like all the TVs would be on it. I remember watching WrestleManias and all these other stuff.
Watch parties.
Right, it was a watch party, right? But you would go into the place. You know, some places would require for you to buy food. Some places wouldn't. You know, I've been to bowling alleys to watch it and different stuff like that with friends, depending on where I live. But let me show Fernando some love. Fernando says that WWE's already moved on from Vince McMahon when they forced him out of the WWE, changing the names of the PLE. It means nothing. It's just a lame publicity stunt. If it's not broke, don't fix it. What do you feel about, thank you for your comment, Fernando. What do you feel about WWE making some of the changes to the PLE, Jess, like Fernando's talking about?
I got to disagree. I got to disagree with him a little bit. And you know, he's not the only type of fan who feels this way. It's a lot of people on my social media who feel this way, because if y'all just want to just go ahead and take accountability about it, y'all just miss all the blood and gut. This is why, you know, everybody is battling between who's better, AEW or WWE. It's all about the amount of carnage you guys see in wrestling. So Vince McMahon era, you know, it was all about the humiliation rituals.
Facts.
About you. and showing a little blood, showing a little gut, and beating each other's butts in the ring. Now Triple H, he thinks about all fans.
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking about that 12-year-old boy down there. He's thinking about that 7-year-old girl down there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's it's a little much to take in when you are I'll say K through 8. And if y'all don't know what K through 8, that's kindergarten through 8th grade. So now, high school's a little more easier to like process violence. It's easier to process violence, but with a middle schooler and an elementary schooler, it is their minds are still learning things, so they're going to start copying things. Remember how I was talking to you guys and Cheyenne, and how a lot of kids back in the day when we was growing up would actually try to perform the wrestling moves or things like that, but because they're not trained or because they don't know how to fake it, because they think this stuff is real, now they're hurting each other.
True. So I think though, when it comes to the names though, I feel that like I feel the sentiment that Fernando has, that if it's not broke, don't fix it. I do agree that there should be some kind of evolution and stuff like that in the realm of, the pay-per-view names and stuff like that. But I also feel that, I strongly believe, I know the reason why WWE had to change to become, less violent. And the reason why they had to become less violent is because they were looking for that money. They wanted the big people to spend money, on them. Fernando also said that changing the name of the PLEs will not bring more viewers to the WWE. And I think what they're probably kind of trying to do is get rid of, the Vince McMahon era. Because the way it used to be, just the first pay-per-view, the first big pay-per-view, I'm not counting, all the other ones that happened, WrestleFest and all the other stuff. What I'm looking at was the first one.
You're talking about stuff like Hell in a Cell.
Nah, girl, it was way before that. Let me tell you how it worked. So the way it worked was that you'd have WrestleMania, and then you had Survivor Series, then you had...
So you didn't even have Backlash yet?
No, you didn't get those till like 9. So you had the core 4. You had WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and
Money in the Bank.
No Money in the Bank
yet?
No. Wow. And you see, and that's how we know that Jess is not even an old school fan. And we had Survivor Series.
I am a newbie.
Survivor Series, the Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. Those was the core 4. So then WWE used to show pay-per-views once a quarter. So then they started bringing in Your House. So it was like In Your House 1, In Your House 2. And then they started putting names to it. In Your House Mind Games. In Your House Beware of Dog. In Your House Backlash. In Your House No Mercy. And then they dropped the In Your House. And then they started just going with the pay-per-view names. Money in the Bank, Hell in the Cell. Those were individual Elimination Chamber. Those were individual matches that happened in the WWE. And like they had, it was No Way Out, and No Way Out. They brought the Elimination Chamber in. They got rid of the thing and gave it a name. Hell in the Cell was just a standalone match by itself, and then they brought it to where every single event had a Hell in the Cell. But that's not really too weird because TNA did it. TNA had a pay-per-view that was called Lockdown. Right, it was called Lockdown, and every single match took place in a steel cage. Every single match. So I feel that by WWE, they kind of themed the pay-per-views too much, and they built it around the theme instead of building it around the stories. But when you look at Triple H, though, in 2025, his creative fingerprint is everywhere. Everything, in my opinion, I feel like pro wrestling has it feels big fight sometimes. Like John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium, night 2. It felt like big fight, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, right? And we're still seeing
good. It felt good too.
It sure was, and we still have the long-term payoffs from there, But looking at Brock Lesnar showed up at Wrestlepalooza, destroying John Cena. To me, that's a symbolic reset of the era. It's like, all right, fine, maybe John Cena was Vince McMahon's guy, maybe Brock Lesnar is Triple H's guy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I'm still.
Cupcake is here.
Look, because with Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, we know the man's a beast. He's the beast. He's a great wrestler. Great. Mm-hmm. But them allegations, bro, woo. Let's just hope it was some bull stuff. You know what I'm saying? And because they thought, because he was technically Brock was considered Vince's guy,
right?
And y'all know how y'all are about women as well. Birds of a feather flock together. So he assumed And women assume maybe not. Maybe it was true, but he's back now. And obviously those allegations had some cracks in it. If you're able to come back.
Yeah, if they would put him on TV, the allegations are probably not that strong. You know, and
at least not on him. Not on him.
So Mark Shapiro, the president of TKO, which owns, UFC, WWE, the bullfighting, and whatever else they decide to buy this week, he called Wrestlepalooza a super franchise. And to me, that's proof that they're building a whole new intellectual property. Let me ask you this question, Jess. And I'm going to ask every single person in the chat right now. Everybody stay in the chat. I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm asking you too as well too, Jess. Here's the question. Was Wrestlepalooza, in your opinion, the start of WWE's next boom period?
It could have been so much better. I liked it. I liked it, but it was little fireworks. You know what I'm saying? I was looking for 4th of July fireworks. You know what I'm saying? We got some mini fireworks, like, your favorite football team won the Super Bowl type fireworks. I thought we was going to get boom, bop, bing, bow, wow, wow. You know what I'm saying?
We was going to get what?
Oh, yeah, my little bing, bop, boom, bop, bam. The type of shit you wouldn't understand.
I don't even understand it. You make my back hurt. Stop.
Shout outs to Kendrick Lamar, y'all.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to say, y'all know who I just quoted just now. But anyway.
So do you feel that...
Like back to Wrestlepalooza, it could have been so much more. For people to say that SummerSlam was much better than Wrestlepalooza, should have told them something. And it wasn't about the ESPN thing. Well, I'll say 40% of the reason was because, y'all told everybody, hey, look, you confused everybody and said, yeah, you had to have ESPN Plus, period. You know what I'm saying? You just had to have it. You didn't tell people that, oh, well, if you had the whatever Disney Plus did, if you got that little bundle, then you're good. You know what I'm saying? If you got Fubo, you're good. They didn't really explain that, yeah, you have to have ESPN Plus, but you just had to have a certain form of ESPN Plus. You didn't have to have ESPN Plus, the app. You could have went in any sort of way. But of course, people was like, man, why did I have to do that? Why did I need to pay an extra $30? Because that was actually very true, you guys. If you didn't already have it, it was definitely an additional for Disney Plus, it definitely was an additional $20 on top of your $20.99.
So let's see what everybody in the chat said. The question was Wrestlepalooza the start of WWE's next boom period? So let's go to the chat. We'll run into that real quick. Just want to make sure we give him some love. Cupcake pointed out. Love that Cupcake is back. Haven't seen her in a while. What's up, Cupcake? Cupcake says King of the Ring. She was calling out some of the classic PLEs. That eventually became one. Fernandez says that he doesn't understand what does changing the name of the PLEs have to do with the kids. Yeah, that was to you, Jess. For Stu, he left his view. He says the booking should be changed, not the pay-per-view names. Cupcake says to the question, was Wrestlepalooza the start of WWE's boom period? She says no. I agree with her. I feel like we've already been in that boom period.
But to answer, I would like to answer Fernando's question if I can.
Go ahead.
So I don't mean to say, maybe I should rephrase what I'm saying. No, the name of the PLEs is not about the children. No, but the strategy of WWE as an industry has to do with the kids, if you understand what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Because, once you realize that a lot of the audience was actually a lot more kids than adults than anticipated, you got to adjust.
But WWE built that. You know why? WWE built that. You know why?
Merchandise. The toys.
They built it for
the toys.
Adults
and the
buy
belts
toys
and
too.
All of that
Adults
stuff.
buy the belts as well too. But they built it more for the kids, right? Because for me, and I always say that I have a really bad habit. And my really bad habit, I'll out myself right now. Here's my bad habit. My bad habit is that I walk into Walmart and whatever my kid wants, if he's good and I feel like he's deserving, I don't even look at the price. I just buy it for him. I bought an $8 basketball for him the other day. And it was a little styrofoam thing because, we can't find his little basketball that he shoots hoops with in his house. So it's like, because of that, imagine if my son said to me, hey, I want to go to WrestleMania. Damn, bro, we can't watch on the TV, though. All right, no problem. I'm going to try to find a way for him to go to WrestleMania. And obviously, he may have a friend that may want to come as well, too.
All I'm saying is that I spent a good amount of money to go to John Cena's last match.
Oh, you going?
My God. Oh, I am going. And my godson, my godson doesn't know, you guys. My godson doesn't know.
He doesn't watch the Tristan Law show?
It is his Christmas present. He's never been, but he wants to go so bad.
You know when my birthday is, right?
When is your birthday?
December 5th. So, if you're looking to buy your friend a gift,
December 5th.
It's not, but we could pretend so I can go to John Cena in D.C.
You're a Sag. Wait a minute, that means you're a Sagittarius.
No,
right?
I'm a Virgo. I'm all the way Virgo. I'm messing with you.
Oh.
Fernando says that SummerSlam was fire. He also says that Wrestlepalooza was a flop, according to a lot of fans. ESPN gave it a real bad review. Imagine that. They want to be they want to be treated as a legit sport, and Wrestlepalooza came in as a flop. I felt that when it came to Wrestlepalooza, let me tell you this, right? Streamomania, I'll be 100% honest. Streamomania was just a basic 5-hour live stream, me sitting here for 5 hours with you and Cheyenne and everybody else here. And I just felt like, you know what? What does WrestleMania do? They make it feel larger than life. And to me, Streamomania was a larger than life. It was something special. It's not something that we do all the time. I felt that they could have taken Wrestlepalooza and make it feel like it was something bigger. I sat here in a sports coat to look nice. You never see me here in a sports coat. I look like I just rolled out of bed.
You in a sports coat.
Look, I don't wear fancy clothes like that. It's just not my thing, And you dress nice. Cheyenne dressed nice. It just all felt different. I mean, granted, you always dress nice. You always dress nice.
I appreciate that. I was like, oh, I do. I appreciate that, boy. But like, I have to agree. I have to agree with you. Like, I think it goes back to what you said. I think it was maybe rushed because, again, look at the time of Wrestlepalooza. What day that came out?
September 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
What else is also in September?
The month after my birthday.
College football starts. You know what I'm saying? All sorts of certain things. And because, the wrestling fan community, we are big. We're huge, but not as big as football community.
I agree.
Not as big as the baseball community and the basketball community. The people who are pretty much, they live their life on ESPN. So when they looked on ESPN and they saw wrestling, there was like, excuse my French, but what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? And they all, I'm talking about the basics. They think that it's scripted. They think that it's fake. So, they're like, why is this fake bullshit on ESPN?
Yeah.
But, they don't know what we know, Trish.
So Maria says that you are the best godmother, but Maria also says that we had a boom period during the Roman Reigns era, and we are on a down period right now, in my opinion. But hold on. Stu also said that the boom period started WrestleMania 40, but it's so hard to keep up that momentum. I have a comment about that, but it feels like you have one as well, too. Go ahead, Jess.
I kind of agree, but let's think about the boom period. We are in a shift. Let me say it like this. It's a shift. We are in a generational shift that we all have been through before. Like, remember when Seth Rollins came out? The old, had to get rid of the old gods, the Batistas and the Undertakers. You had to get rid of them to usher in Roman Reigns, usher in Seth Rollins, usher in Cody Rhodes, all these things. Now these people are older. Now they are the OGs in the game. Now you have to start ushering the new kids, the Braun Breaker. You know what I'm saying? Maybe give LA Knight his due diligence. The Penta, maybe not Penta, but what's the other one? Dragon Lee. The what's that tag team? What's that one tag team? The
Axiom?
Fraxium.
Fraxium. Yeah.
Usher them boys in because y'all saw that. Did y'all see that on SmackDown? Yeah, hold on, a little side 30-second bar, bro.
Go ahead, you got 30 seconds.
Matt coming back.
Who's Matt?
Matt coming back. Matt Cardona.
I don't know who that is.
AEW, but he's known as something Zack Ryder.
Oh, I know who Zack Ryder is. I don't know who Matt Cardona is. That's at least what the WWE wants us to believe.
Zack Ryder.
So
apparently people is like him and LA Knight need to come together as a tag team and call it the Knight Riders.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a mark for the name. So, okay. So when first off, our Fernando says that he's ready for Streamomania 2. You know what? I think that Streamomania is going to come back next year. I feel that, speaking of Streamomania, doing WrestleMania, right? I feel like doing WrestleMania, there's so much wrestling in that week. There's so much stimulation when you're doing WrestleMania week. You've got Raw, you've got SmackDown, you've got the Hall of Fame, you've got NXT, you've got 2 nights of WrestleMania. That's 6 days worth of wrestling, and I'm sure they throw a 7th day in there, somebody doing something, and then you have all the videos you can watch on YouTube. You can watch the live stream. You have WrestleCon. There's just so much going on in the WWE in pro wrestling. WrestleMania has turned into the nexus for pro wrestling one time a year, every single spring. And then it just feels like, okay, so after the Royal Rumble, it feels like we kind of like light jog until the Royal Rumble. Like right now, like literally in 2 months, a month and a half, we're getting the Royal Rumble.
I know, right?
We're in a light jog right now. And once we get to
WrestleMania, we're already at Survivor Series. I'm like, wow. And like, I remember we were just talking about Money in the Bank. So I was like, whoa, this time is flying.
So then right after Royal Rumble, we start to pick up the pace. Then when we get to Hell in a Cell, right after Hell in a Cell, it feels like we're in a breakneck speed to WrestleMania. Then after WrestleMania, I call it pro wrestling hangover. We have a hangover because we consumed so much wrestling. But to understand why everything matters, we have to understand what WWE right now is leaving behind. You know, before Jess, it was Vince. Vince was one-man creative control. Right now, it's Triple H, it's collaboration, and long-form storytelling. When Vince McMahon was in charge, they told stories from event to event. It was just to, how do we get to the next PLE? Now I feel like they're booking for the quarter. Shapiro and Nick Khan, those are the people that they took Vince McMahon's role and split it. Instead of Vince McMahon being responsible from everything from running the business to booking the storylines and stuff like that, now they split it. Triple H books the storylines. He's the face of the WWE, and Nick Shapiro and Nick Khan, they're pushing for new event names and new merchandising cycles. That's just what they do. Their job is to make sure that WWE remains profitable, and Triple H's job is to make sure that they have something that's profitable. Looking at TKO, their earnings show revenue jump tied to PLE momentum. They're charging an arm and a leg. You know, like Maria said that you're a great godmother for bringing your godson to John Cena's final match. Like, we already have an idea how much bread you broke already. Like golly, you know, that's why TKO is making so much money. And then you got that ESPN crossover promotion, which I don't think that wrestling really needs that crossover promotion anymore. But they're letting you know, hey, look, you got the ESPN app. You know, you might as well go ahead and watch Wrestlepalooza. It's included. SportsCenter did Road to WrestleMania. WWE is finally treated like a sports property, and it's no longer a sports entertainment sideshow.
I have to give you that little hand clap right there. Now, all they just got to do now is integrate SmackDown, which I think that's up next.
Look, I just think that it should be easy for everybody to watch in one place. You know, I hate the fact that I have to
like that. It should all be on Netflix. Might as well be.
It is on Netflix, just not here in America. That's why I have to go to the UK every Monday night, every Tuesday night, and every Friday night, and on the 29th for Survivor Series. You know, I'm gonna have to go to the UK again, and don't forget. You know, Justin and I will be bringing you your pre-show and your reaction show for Survivor Series War Games. That's coming up week after the weekend of Thanksgiving, following Thanksgiving. There'll be a light show week that week. But the thing is, though, is that I think that Triple H's long-term storytelling, it already outshines the last 10 years of Vince's era. Tell me that I'm wrong.
I can't. Like most of the storylines so far, it survives at least 3 weeks, almost a month. Like, think about it. How long has Drew McIntyre been beefing with Cody Rhodes?
Since Jesus was a child, and he was a child a very long time ago.
How long? So it's like, bro, that story is still going on. Still going on. Wow, what other story is still going crazy right now?
We had the Seth Rollins story, and everybody was complaining that Seth Rollins was doing, he was doing too much, as the kids would say. He was doing too much. But I think that it all worked, that because the way that the WWE books now is that when somebody like Seth Rollins drops out, they have another name that they can immediately plug in. If they needed another babyface right now that could be the champion, if it wasn't Cody Rhodes, they can immediately plug somebody in right now.
Yeah, sure could. They actually, honestly, that's why I was saying it's almost time to usher in the new, it's time to usher in the new generation. It's time to usher in Javon Evans. Time to usher in Carmelo Hayes. Time to usher in Trick Williams and Oma Femi and Ricky Sane and Ethan Page and all these new cats that are just coming around and stuff. It's time to usher in those main eventers because, listen, I watch NXT. Like, I remember when I wasn't, and I felt so out of place. So I started watching it more and more. And that man, Shawn Michaels, is a little bit better at the storytelling than Triple H, in my opinion. Just a little. But
I think that NXT at one time fed a different audience. It fed the people that kind of wanted a little bit more edgier programming, but didn't really too tough like AEW, but couldn't really jive with what WWE was doing, but they're loyal to WWE. And then Vince McMahon touched it and messed it up. Stu says people truly forget how bad Vince's booking was. Look, Vince has hit some home runs. Let's give Vince McMahon his credit. He has hit some home runs. WrestleMania, Kane, The Undertaker, DX, the Hart Foundation, Hogan versus Andre, Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan.
Who was it? Big Show, and who was the guy he was in the ring with where they broke the whole ring?
Mark
Big
Henry.
Show and Mark Henry. That was a pretty good match right there.
Vince McMahon. It probably feels like Vince McMahon struck out a lot because it's so far behind us. There's so more. They always say people always remember the bad. People don't always remember the good. Right? And Vince McMahon did do some. I'm not talking about what he does in his personal life. Stop it, behave yourselves. I'm talking about what Vince McMahon does professionally. I feel that Vince McMahon has done some good. I feel that Triple H has evolved. I feel like Vince McMahon lived in a bubble, hence why he called it a WWE universe. It being a universe, let me ask you this question, Jess. Here's why I feel like Vince McMahon calls it a WWE universe. Who created the universe?
God.
And Vince McMahon is God.
Oh, God.
He created you. He created you in his vision.
Hell no.
There are only
easy.
Look, Jess, hold on, hear me out. There are only a couple of pro wrestlers that have ever been made outside of the WWE that have actually become something in the WWE. I can tell you who those are: Booker T and the Dudley Boys.
Okay, yeah, no, you got a point there because the Dudley Boys to this day,
look at DDP.
Still relevant.
DDP was the man in WCW, and he came to WWE, and what did he become? A stalker. What about Sting? Yeah. Sting was the man in WCW. He came to WWE and became what? One match and left.
One match day, man.
Ric Flair?
But I think, before you bring up Ric Flair, one thing that Vince McMahon did is had an eye for I don't want to say an eye for talent, but eye for the star. You if you understand what I'm saying. Yes, just because you can wrestle great doesn't mean you're a star.
That's true.
And this is why Jey Uso is a star, and it is where he's at. No matter how much I want to hate Jey Uso, Uso is main event level. He's a star.
I just hate that running back shit.
I don't give a shit. Nobody gives a damn. My godson doesn't give a damn. My godson wants me to run it back 4 times playing WWE 2025.
The only time I want to run it back is I'm a.
Hey, listen, you know what?
I stopped myself before I went over that bridge. I was done. I know when I want to run it back. I'm gonna use that. I need my wife to be a pro wrestling fan. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna go on the dating apps and says I want a wife to be a pro wrestling fan. So when I say let's run it back. So when I go, she knows exactly what All right, so this dropping.
Pray for his wife. Pray for the lady who decides to say, you know what, Trish, I'm going to give you a try. Pray for her, because she is not mentally all there. The mall is open and ain't nobody shopping.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just playing.
So
he's great, y'all. He's great.
Does dropping Vince's names, so like all the names that Vince McMahon came up doing his era, do you feel that dropping the names risk alienating legacy fans like myself, Jess? Because I'm a legacy fan. I go way back, like flip-flops and socks.
I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person. You know what I'm saying? It's just some people just everything's about networking. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, if you know who you know, then you know you're going to get into the room.
Right.
That's all. I've noticed that just, being a part of this podcast has definitely taught me a few things.
Oh yeah, what'd you learn? What'd you learn?
That it's all about who you know and what you know.
True.
All because I only think about because you know how many stories you talk about your former life as a pro wrestler and all the things you did and who trained you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you had just talked to the right person, you too would probably be working for the WWE in some shape or form.
I talked to all the right people. I just had no confidence. I did a tryout for Ring of Honor. And it was Kevin Kelly was there. Kevin Kelly was an announcer with WWE back in the day. And Jim Cornette was there. The mouth of, not the mouth of the South. Jim Cornette was there. And I was maybe 20-something years old, maybe 24, 25, doesn't matter. And I was big. I was huge. Like, I love food. My mouth is watering. Hold on. I love me some food, right? But I trained with smaller guys. So
shit.
So I always knew that I needed to be able to keep up with the smaller guys. And I could bump around with the best of them. So I went to Jim Cornette. I wrestled a match, and Jim Cornette said to me, "Kid, you're good. For a big guy, you're really good." He goes, "Do me a favor. Lose weight and come back. I want to see you again." So you know what I did?
What'd you do?
I lost the weight. I lost the weight and never went back. Lost the weight and never went back. I never had any confidence in myself. I honestly know the reason why I am not a WWE superstar is the person that's sitting in front of you right now. That's the only reason why I'm not a WWE superstar. But I always feel too, though, that maybe my destiny wasn't for me to become a WWE superstar. It was for me to go into the wrestling business, to befriend people, to learn about the pro wrestling business, so I can sit here and intelligently talk about it. Because if I never went through that, Jess, or go to broadcasting school, I would never be here. My mother always tells me, "You have a voice for radio." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I always tell my mother, the only reason I have a voice for radio is because you never gave me a face for TV.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. Terrible, mama. But nah, I get that same thing. Like, "Oh, you would sound great on the radio." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because I'm like, my voice is elevated and loud and stuff. I'm like, "Are you sure you just don't want me on a bullhorn telling, we want rights, fight the power?"
You could do that too.
Like, no.
Let's give the chat. Let's give the chat some love. Let's see. So Stu said that Stu Mania 2 is going to be fire. I think so. I think that it's going to be bigger than it was before. I think Stu Mania was fun. I feel like I started a lot of relationships with a lot of you guys, because one of the things I'll always say here is I'm not just a YouTube channel. Like, everybody calls it a podcast. I think it's gone beyond a podcast. It's a show. And it's TV ready, and I feel like the opportunity of being able to sit here before you, Fernando, Maria, Ryan, Cupcake, Heel Vega, Universal, everybody that's watching, whether you're watching now, we're building a community here. We're building a community. And it's special because I watch a lot of YouTube, and it's like, I like to feel like I'm a part of something. You guys know that we're live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, unless something happens and the show gets rescheduled like last weekend. But you guys know that we're here. And I like it. So, so Streamer Mania 2, I think it's definitely going to be fire. I think that probably be, at 10,000 subscribers by then. You never know.
Thank you. Never know.
Maria says that WWE gets popping again around Survivor Series and rides the wave through Mania. Okay. Stu says...
she thinks Survivor Series is where he gets it popping? That's interesting.
Stu dropped his view. He says, you're naming stuff from 30 years ago, Tristan. I am. And make sure you check out Stu's channel. Stu, you need to start dropping more videos so I can watch what you're doing. Bro, I'm telling you, I watch YouTube. I saw you drop the short about SmackDown. Make sure you guys check it out. Stu's view on wrestling. I checked out his channel. I like watching his shit. It's different.
Oh.
It's different.
Just a sidebar, because remember, that's what Fernando was talking about, the change in the names. So, or how about it was just too many names? How about they didn't really change anything. They condensed all that stuff into one big PLE. You know what I'm saying?
Which one?
So you were talking about like in-house and stuff like that?
In your house? Yeah, it was in your house, something else.
Right. If you ever think about it, most of those, except for like what you say, you did definitely say Backlash, so I'm gonna take Backlash out. A lot of those matches ended up being in one big PLE.
But
you know,
with Survivor Series, they went back to that. If that's the logic, they went back to it, because Survivor Series was a standalone match itself, 5-on-5 elimination style match. It was your Thanksgiving. It was your spectacle on Thanksgiving evening. That is what you would watch after you eat your dinner. But now Survivor Series is now War Games. It's two different things. War Games is a WCW thing.
But that goes back to what I said. You condensed it. You merged it into one big one. So that way you won't be having 1,000 different PLEs every 2 weeks.
Right. Well, I mean, that's how it felt sometimes. At one time, WWE was putting on a PLE twice a month. They were doing once every other month with SmackDown, Raw. Then they had ECW. It was a time. It was the time. Let's see.
I would prefer that. I would prefer monthly or every maybe two months. Every two months. Maybe.
Never happened.
I wouldn't mind that.
Never happened. Too much money they're leaving on the table. What's the point of you paying $30 for ESPN for you to go ahead and watch it to only utilize it every other month if you're a WWE fan? If anything, I think they need to be.
What PLE have we had? All right, we're here, Survivor Series, right?
Right.
What PLE what was the PLE before this?
Money in the Bank?
No, was it? Or King and Queen Night of Champions?
You sure?
That's what, or something like that. That's what I'm trying to get to is how long, like the time difference between here we are, Survivor Series on November 29th and the last PLE that we were just watching. That's almost, it seems like it's every 2 months. We get a PLE.
Well, we feel like we get so much. It was Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel is probably the real one. And then they had was it Elimination? No, it was No Mercy. No Mercy was NXT. They had Wrestlepalooza. So yeah, I think we haven't really gotten that much, but I feel like WWE at this point, they need to start adding more value to them. So I think essentially they need more PLEs.
I don't think that I disagree. I don't think we need more PLEs. I think
you do.
No. I think what they're doing right now, extending Raw and extending SmackDown, is what we needed.
No.
Now we get Raw an extra hour, and soon we will get SmackDown an extra hour. Nah.
Jess, I don't want to sit there and watch TV so long. I really don't want to sit there for 3 hours and watch SmackDown. When SmackDown was...
Nah, Trish, that's some BS. How are you going to sit there and say you don't want to watch SmackDown for 3 hours, but you sit there and you watch that PLE for 3 hours?
PLE in 3 hours. PLE is 2 hours and change.
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
The post show, it's the same thing.
Well, I'm watching a post show usually while I'm doing other things. I don't have to sit there and physically watch the post show. I listen to the post show. Sometimes I may put the AirPods on and walk around the house and do something. Or you know what? I may watch the post show while I'm preparing for another show or putting together an idea. But I think that WWE needs more shows.
I don't think they need more shows. If you're not going to give more shows, then definitely make some, not all, some of the matches longer. You got longer run time. That means some of these matches are going to be longer, or you're adding an extra match. We get at least 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 to 5 matches every night each week, right? Now something is like Jade. What was it? Jade and B-Fab the other night.
Right.
Maybe the Jade and B-Fab, Jade and whoever's next will be longer.
Well, I don't know. I think that the way that WWE is doing stuff now, with the new Super Show model, because like the way it used to be back in the day was WrestleMania. It was the 1980s TV spectacle. That's the same way that Streamomania was. You know, it felt like a spectacle. It felt larger than life. It felt can't miss. All my friends and family kept saying to me, "Oh my God, you got Streamomania coming this week. How do you feel?" I feel nervous. I've pooped 4 times and before it started. Jess, for Streamomania, I was walking circles around the house. I think I walked a circle into the floor, you know, and that's how nervous it was. It felt like a spectacle. Wrestlepalooza, though, it felt like almost like a streaming festival. That's how it almost feels with WrestleMania today. It's a streaming festival. Now, you know, we used to get one night. Today, we're getting multi-night, multi-energy, and it's a global brand language. WWE is leaning on international markets like Paris, Berlin, Perth, because those fans, the acoustics of just going international itself is amazing, or leaving mainland United States. Look at Puerto Rico. I'm not saying that Puerto Rico is not a part of the United States. That's why I changed it to mainland. You know, when you go there, you just listen to the crowd. It makes you think that WWE is the hottest ticket. Ain't nobody making that much noise on the NFL. Ain't nobody making that much noise when you're watching when you're watching basketball, the NBA. But when you watch soccer internationally, they are singing in the stands.
My God, soccer, my God, my Lord, I makes me feel so small. That them fans make us look small. And every single PLE that has been out international, especially like Scotland,
right?
What Dublin? Oh, I gotta do the solo face, like. Like, oh my God! Like, what are we doing in the States? Like, why are we so weak?
It's not that we weak. It's just how we consume our wrestling. When you watch Japanese wrestling, I challenge you to watch Japanese wrestling. They sit there very quietly, and then when they see something they like, they go, "Oh," and then they clap. For us, we're chanting, "You suck!" You know, your mother's terrible. You look stupid. But when you go internationally, everybody's arms in arms. Everybody got arms around each other, and they're going, Cody Rhodes. I don't know if that's what they say, but that's what they be chanting. You know, but they're chanting. They're having fun.
Cody Rhodes.
Right. That's how it goes. And they're all arm in arm chanting it in their gear, and that's just how it is. But I feel like with WWE now, with the way that their merch is, that the way that their media is, the way that the lifestyle is, I think that WWE wants to feel like Coachella. I said it.
Yeah, why not? So why not? Why not? I think that's just who we are as Americans. We love to celebrate our athletes. We like to make them feel good or bad. It just depends on your mindset. That's just who we are. That's why we chant like we chant. That's why we're saying boos and hiss or yays or all of this stuff, because for some odd reason, we think that it helps them mentally in some shape.
I don't know. I mean, to as a wrestler, yeah, it helps. It's nice to hear what everybody, has to say. You get that immediate feedback. And talking about immediate feedback, it seems like the chat is not agreeing with me right now. Maria says that we need less PLEs. There's too many. Fernando says that more shows is the last thing we need, Tristan. If we had less shows a year, the shows would feel more special, would be booked better. But I feel like for $30 a month, though, for somebody like me, I'm only a wrestling fan. I may go to a basketball event. I would love to go to an NFL event. I've been to hockey games. I've been to soccer games. I've been to baseball games. And I only go for one reason, the food, in case you couldn't tell. I go for the food. And for me, it's like, for me, spending $30 for ESPN, for me, that's a big bag for me to want to be in. But talking about big bags to even want to be in, with the stuff that WWE is doing right now, how does AEW even compete with this corporate muscle? AEW can't compete with this. This is Disney level branding, not indie energy.
Me.
You in the back. You in the back with the glasses.
Me in the back.
You in the back with the glasses.
You know why?
Why?
Because I feel like AEW and HBO, I think they got some other shit going on in their minds. I just do, because one, I am a big HBO fan. I am a home box office fan. I've been watching it for years. Okay. And the one thing that HBO does is adult content. And what's at AEW? At AEW? You don't see no goddamn kids at AEW.
You do, but they're very few and far in between.
teenagers that start just like us at 13, 14 years old, you know, that we like the violence and we like sex and we like all of these things. You know what I'm saying?
You're nasty.
Okay, what I mean by sex, I mean, like, you know, you like to see the girl with the big boobies. Like, what's her name? Toni Storm, man. Come on. Y'all know exactly why y'all go to AEW to look at Toni Storm. You know why. You know why. And it's the truth, but that's more of an adult.
Is that why you go to AEW, Jess?
Look, yes, and that's exactly why I love Rhea Ripley. Look, I'm a woman. I am a girl's girl, so I tell you that I love me a good wrestling woman. I love me some Rhea Ripley. Love her. Lash Legend, please. If I felt like I could beat her, I would for Trick Williams, but I'm not crazy, so I'm not that delusional.
Hey, look, Fernando's pointed out you're getting a little spicy here, Jess.
Bruh, whatever. I like what I see. I like it. I don't care. I like what I see. I like being a woman, so what's the problem?
You know what? Hand clap. I just want to give a hand clap to every woman
y'all.
Out there when I give a hand clap.
Don't get it twisted. Like, I am 100% the wee-wee, okay? I'm 100% the wee-wee, so that's what it is. But I love being a woman.
I like being a man.
There you go.
All right.
You like being a man, so there you go. And what do men like to look at? Ass and titties. So let's just...
If you look at my Instagram, I like to look at food also.
And yeah. All right. Women like to look at food too. We like to cook. Some women love to cook.
I like to cook too. I like to eat.
Man, we are so off topic. This is like the wrong show to be
I think sometimes everybody appreciates. But okay, to truly move forward though, WWE, they're not just adding, they're also cutting too. Like, okay, so fine. In 2025, we got lucky. As far as I can remember, we only had one PLE, right? But for next year, they got 3 planned, right? We had Knights of Champion this year, but 2026 we're getting the Royal Rumble plus 2 more. In 2027, we're getting WrestleMania. You know, it shifts from legacy U.S. events to global stadiums. And the whole stadium fandom, and I'm going to ask you because I know you don't know, Jess, but it also adds, some conversation. Do you know when WWE started the whole entire stadium frenzy? I want to see if you can get this. When did they start going into a stadium? Where was their first event in a stadium? Televised.
Televised? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to take an educated
PLE. Pay-per-view.
And it has to be a PLE, right?
PLE pay-per-view.
I'm going to say, I want to say SummerSlam.
No.
I feel like the PLE is SummerSlam.
Wait, before that. They had one, Wimbledon, where Bret Hart wrestled British Bulldog. British Bulldog was well inebriated, and Bret Hart carried British Bulldog through that entire match. Bravo to Bret Hart.
So
it was WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3 in Detroit.
Is it a WrestleMania? Mm-hmm. Usually 3.
WrestleMania 3 in Detroit, and then they revisited it years later. WWE right now, they have a fresh calendar. Knights of Champions in Riyadh. They brought back Evolution, and granted, Evolution is not new because it was Evolution 2. But look how many years from when it happened to when it came back.
That's what I was talking about. Because when Evolution happened, I was like, what the. When did this happen?
Yeah, when you weren't paying attention.
I think we talked about it, and you was like, "Yeah, this isn't new." I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh."
So now WWE they partner with On Location for VIP packages. What they're doing is they're turning fans into tourists. WWE's becoming WWE's becoming a global Disney World that travels. It's not just weekly television. It's global tourism entertainment. And the feeling, it was only exclusive to WrestleMania. Now it's multiple times in the year. If you've got enough money to give away, you can go ahead and, like right now I saw it. They're promoting that you can buy the money to go to WrestleMania in Las Vegas, the next one that's coming. And if you buy the VIP experience, you can walk down the ramp and pretend to be a WWE superstar. Personally,
I've noticed they've been doing that at every other WrestleMania.
Right, you get to sit front row,
to walk in there and do y'all thing, or
you
whatever.
Get the chair, you get all that. WWE going global. It proves they no longer care about staying comfortable for the U.S. fans. It's about worldwide domination now. They felt like they've already built the house here. They've already built the house. Now let's build a vacation house someplace else.
Exactly. And guess who? And right. And guess who they got? It wasn't just adults. They got the kids.
Of course.
Come on now.
But the kids come with the adults. The kid. So it's better, right? You see, it's better for me as a company to market towards the kids because kids can't come by themselves.
No, they can't.
So you need to buy 2 tickets because your grandnephew, your godson can't go by himself.
No, he can't.
Right.
But if I had that type of money, if I wasn't, if I made that type and I was a millionaire.
One day.
Absolutely. I would buy that VIP package. I sure would have. Absolutely. It's, what do you say? Walk down the ring? Oh, my God.
There's going to be a day, Jess,
I would be like the greatest person ever.
There's going to be a day that WWE and other companies are going to be inviting us to come to their shows for free. And I say that not to be cocky, but I'm saying that's the trajectory that I see this whole entire thing going. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy things up here that I want to do with this whole entire channel, rebranding the channel, turning it into a network. Cheyenne having his show Main Event Conversations, which is coming pretty soon, is a part of it. There's other shows that I'm going to do later on in the line. One I've expressed with you, Jess, but I think these.
Oh yeah, and recaps with me. Don't forget those.
We're gonna do a recap with Jess. Just waiting for a matter of time, letting everything happen so that everything doesn't feel too crazy. But does the international push though for WWE, does it make it feel less accessible to you as fans, Jess? By them pushing to go international?
As a fan, it wants me to do it more. As for me, as far as me is concerned, because I'm like, I don't know. I think because I like the fandom across the sea. I do. I like what they do over there internationally, how the fans make the wrestlers feel, because it validates us as fans.
Right.
And because over here in America, I mean, you brought up Japanese wrestling, how, they're a little more like, I don't want to say, well, yeah, let's just say it's a strict program, they are focused on technique and the moves and things of that nature. No, we are focused on the person. We are focused on the arenas and the Jays and the Randys.
It's the characters that make us show up.
The characters that's who we love. Like, I think it makes us appreciate our more American wrestlers more. And, because we're the headquarters. We're the top dogs. That means they love us.
So Fernando says that he doesn't need wrestling going international. He doesn't want it. For me, I think that WWE is just as American as baseball. Right. I feel it's just as American as the NFL. And the NFL went to internationally and they failed, but that's where the WWE comes in. They kind of learn from what to do. Internationally, they were in a vacuum for a long time, to where they didn't get all the shows, and now they're getting most of the shows, or it feels that way. It feels very unique and special to them. But for us, it's like, all right, well, they're not touring, they're not doing house shows like they used to. So when WWE comes to your town, you kind of almost got to go. But I feel that with that whole entire thing there, that I feel that it feels less accessible to the U.S. fans. They'll go international. They know that we're still going to pay either way, and they'll still collect the money. Quickly, go ahead.
But don't you think that's probably how they feel across the sea? They're like, let's just think about this. Wrestling is the one thing the entire world have in common.
It's multilingual.
The entire world. American football, they call it soccer.
Right.
Right. Their football is soccer. Right. Soccer is soccer here. Baseball is not. They don't call it baseball over there.
Right.
What do they call it? I think cricket.
No, two different sports.
Lacrosse, maybe.
Nah, it's two different sports. They call baseball baseball.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. We don't have that many sports in common with people across the water.
Well, I said is looking at the poll I asked, was WWE better with Vince McMahon or Triple H? 22% say it's better with Vince. 56% say it's better with Triple H. 0 say it's terrible, and 22% say it was never bad. But I'll say all this to say that when you step back and look at everything of the ESPN deal, Wrestlepalooza, the new global schedule, it's clear WWE just isn't tweaking the product. They're rebuilding it in real time. Vince McMahon, he gave the company its identity for 40 years, but now we're seeing what it looks like when other people finally get to drive that car. Triple H, Nick Khan, Mark Shapiro, they're not focused on the past. They're focused on shaping the future. And whether you love every change or not, you're still adjusting. And one thing's undeniable, WWE isn't going backwards. Wrestlepalooza, it's not just a show. It's a signal, a new direction, a new era, a new identity. And if this is the starting point, man, the next few years, it's going to be wild.
Okay, hello. Triple H said, time to play the game. He's playing the game.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for dropping out. For hanging out with us today. Share this with somebody. Don't make us be a little dirty secret. Call me, 973-826-0101. Email me, TristanLawShowMedia@gmail.com. Go watch something else on the channel. Go see what we do right now. The next episode's going to be back on Wednesday at noon. I'm Tristan Law. She's just the captain. And we'll see you next time.